Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits.
And I'm Callie, also known as Calsters.
And today is Monday, October 23rd, 2017. This is episode 292. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more time. And if you're new, hopefully you will enjoy tonight's show. Because yes, it is one of those odd times where we are recording on an evening, a day later than normal, but that's because I was out of town this time. And so we tend to be a little punchy, a little on the exquisite side. I don't know. I'm trying too hard. But we tend to get a little slap happy when we record in the evenings. But we'll see how it goes. Callie's had to work all day. I've been on the road most of the day, so. Anyway, how have you all been? It's been 2 weeks, and a lot has happened. A lot is yet to come. The year's coming to a close, and the daylight savings time is right around the corner here in about another 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it already feels like it's happened, because Callie got here at 7 o'clock and it was pitch black outside. I'm like,
so frustrating.
I'm like, oh, and that's going to be like 5:30 in the next 2 weeks.
I'm not going to even, sugarcoat this. I have had a clock in my room that is battery operated. Mm-hmm. That's a wall clock. It's not had the correct time. The battery stops, about a year ago, but I was kind of it's up in an inconvenient place for me to reach it. And so I finally changed it yesterday, added a new battery, and I was like, what's the point? I should have just waited 2 more weeks. It would have been fine.
Because
now I'm going to have to
get back out there and change it.
Frustrating.
Aye.
First world problems, am I right?
Yeah. Could go old school and just have a sundial and, look where the sun is. But we have no sun currently, even though,
It's dark 30.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this might be a little bit of a shorter show just because it's later and I honestly want to get to bed after recording this. So you won't even have the opportunity of seeing this till tomorrow. But let's do a quick recap of what's been going on. So I have been busy around the studio dyeing yarn for Leading Men Fiber Arts, and we have vended the past 2 weekends. I am now officially done traveling for the year. I'm not done with business activities, but I'm done traveling for the year. So last weekend, my sister and I went up to Wisconsin, just over the border, and we vended at the Signature Needle Arts 10th birthday retreat. So Signature Needle Arts is 10 years old, and they decided to throw a fancy retreat at a very nice, resort. Very nice area from what I could tell. However, being a vendor, and if you watch Fat Squirrel Speak, she kind of recaps this a little better than I'm going to. Being a vendor, at certain events, you're kind of behind the scenes, and when you're at a resort, you kind of are too. So, we had a 1-lane loading dock, and there was only 8 vendors, but there was a 1-lane loading dock, and all of us showed up at the same time, right? Because that's what we had. And you had to back into this loading dock. I might have tapped another vendor's mirror, which is fine, they knew, but I was just thought I was so much more in control with the van. And I am. I just was watching the camera more than I was watching my side view mirrors. So anyway, but this loading dock stank because it's for the kitchen, and it just... Food service has that smell.
Oh, yeah.
Grease and garbage and flies and anyway.
Bad decision making.
Well, then we had to load in through, up this dock, load in, and then get in this freight elevator that could kill you. Amy Beth talks about this. Kid, take off your fingers because you had to, open and close the front door before the inside door would shut.
Man, I worked in kitchens with those.
And then it opens up to the kitchen on the second floor, and we had to do, sharp turns... Yeah. With all of our grid wall and all of our stuff. Mm-hmm. And the problem was, so we showed up in the ballroom. There were small little booths, normal size booths, but we don't normally do just the small booths anymore. Right. So, and the way that we're set up with our stock, I had to bring it all in, and then I didn't have enough time, or I had to move my car as well. I couldn't put it anywhere, and it was bad planning on my part. In terms of what I was going to bring and how I was going to set up. So we barely got it together, but we did right before it opened. We got our booth set up, and it was interesting because we were around the edges of the dinner tables. So they had a dinner and a few announcements, and then you could shop some more. And it was kind of a wham bam, thank you ma'am, before dinner. They had dinner, which was dead, and then there was like another 30 to 45 minutes of shopping afterwards. But it was, it was a nice event, other than unloading, which had been downpoured, and like we were the last ones out by a half hour. It was crazy. I mean, everyone was gone out of the room, and we were still trying to load up the van. And then, of course, it's downpouring, it's dark, and trying to find our hotel, because I at least had the forethought to not drive back that night, which most of the vendors did. And I was like, you crazy? I don't do night driving anymore. I am like an old man, and I don't want to night drive at all. So,
know your strengths.
Yep, I realized that driving to Texas. Don't like night driving. Granted, it was in the middle of Missouri with absolutely like...
You mean Wisconsin?
No, when I realized I don't like night driving. It was in the middle of Missouri with absolutely no light other than the occasional semi-headlights. So, anyway. So, that was last weekend. And then this past weekend, Andy and I went up to the Fall Fiber Expo in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And this was our third year there. And so, we actually got an additional half a booth because someone canceled. So, that was nice to spread out. It was good to see familiar faces from the event and new faces. And it's just good to catch up with vendors and things of that nature. And we actually stopped at Andy's mom's last night because Andy had the day off today. He had taken an additional vacation day. And so we stopped at his mom's and we had breakfast with her this morning. And then I drove from about 4 hours from Indiana back home. So, and then we got home and we had to do inventory and go grocery shopping because we had nothing in the house because I've been traveling for so long. Yeesh. Anyway, now we're recording. And I'm somewhat at zen. Anyway, you've had a lot going on. What's been going on with you?
Work has been crazy. That's an understatement. I actually shortened my vacation because there was so much work going on. But I did go on vacation because I went in... I was supposed to leave Friday the 13th after my haircut appointment, and that got canceled for a multitude of reasons. And so, anyways, then Saturday was my birthday, and Sunday I went into work, and Monday I worked full day, and then Tuesday I worked a few hours, and I came home, and I had only had about 2 hours of sleep before I went back into work on Tuesday morning. And I told my mom, I was like, if I don't leave now, there's not a point in going on vacation. Like, I should just either suck it up and go to work or just stay at home. So my mom was like, just go. So I went on vacation. So I drove down to the lake. Our family has a cabin. It's shared among my mom's siblings. And so I was there. I didn't have internet access, but I used my data plan on my phone because
she couldn't totally disconnect.
I couldn't totally disconnect, and especially with Rhinebeck going on this weekend, and especially with Instagram is kind of my jam and everything. So it was hard to totally leave that.
See, and that's part of my sleep routine anymore. I gotta scroll through Instagram, see everything I can see, and then I play my Farm Hero Saga. Raise your hand if you play the Farm Hero Saga. Anyway, if you don't, try it. Puts me to sleep.
So it was kind of nice though because, I didn't do really anything during the day except for knit, and I will explain that when we do it works in progress. But I did go out at night quite a bit because I just really don't have the patience to deal with people during the day, especially the places I was going, which were Kohl's, which I'll be frank, I don't want to see people. That was my point of my vacation is it's nothing personal. It's just if I want to shop, I know what I'm looking for. I don't want people around me. I just want freedom of going to exactly where I need to go. And I'm anti-cart because I think that if I get a cart, I'll spend more money. Oh,
we know with Kohl's, we just get a cart to begin with.
And that's what I should have done because literally it was a hot mess. And just thinking about what that looks like to other people whatever. I don't even care. I don't know them. But it was funny because, okay, so side note, if you are going to the Lake of the Ozarks in general, highly recommend Andy's Custard. It is delicious. And they have their Ozark Sundae, which they're known for, which is delicious in its own right. But it's like 8 billion calories, but if you're on vacation, does it really count?
No, of course not.
But I didn't get that because I have been in like a chocolate shake mood. Oh, so good. Because they make frozen custard by the hour. So it's like always fresh. Game changer. I went every night. And it's like a 30-minute drive from the cabin to there. No shame. None. None at all. So it was good to be down there. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I worried about work a lot because there was so much that still needs to get done. But it was nice to be able to be in a much more scenic atmosphere and to be able to knit on something that I've put down for over a year and a half. So that was good. Yeah. And then I drove back on Saturday. And I actually got to do something that I've never gotten to do before. So, there is a place in Missouri outside of, Jefferson City. It's on I-70, like if you're going to, St. Louis. But it's only like 10 miles off of like the Jeff City, like exit. Anyways, it's an antique mall. Not that you care, but if you do. It's an antique mall called the Apple Wagon, and they are a authorized seconds dealership for Fiesta wear. And so I collect Fiesta wear, and this place has been in business for probably like 10 or so years, at least that I have known about it. But we've never been able to stop because it's open from like 10 to 5 or 9 to 5, and like it just never was conducive to the hours that we were traveling through. And so I stopped and I spent money, and I was okay with that.
It's vacation.
Yeah, it was vacation, but so many great things. It was a solid antique mall too, so if you were looking for, if yes wear is not your thing, but like antiques in general are, they had a really good solid foundation. So yeah.
Cool.
That's my vacation in a nutshell.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got to go on vacation.
Yeah, me too.
Mine's coming up.
Yes.
I'm a little, I don't want to go there. I just want to be there, if that makes sense. I hate the travel days, so. But hopefully it won't be so bad.
Yeah.
For a multitude of reasons. So, it's first time taking a business class flight, so hopefully that'll help. And it's a direct flight. And I had to go to my doctor for something this week, and I asked for a little medicinal encouragement to take the flight. So I had a multitude of friends tell me, hey, why don't you say something to your doctor just see if you can help with the flight. And so hopefully it does. We'll see. And who knows? I was joking around with Andy and his mom last night, and I said, I could take this medicinal encouragement and then not be able to experience and pass out and not be able to know that I'm in business class. So, but anyway, knitting. Yeah, that would happen to me, right? I'd be like, for the 4 hours, and then be, come on, get up. I didn't get my hot towel. No. Do they even do that anymore? I don't know.
I was like, okay, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent, but someone that is in my life right now is not going to be in my life predominantly.
Oh, I know you're not. Okay.
Yeah. So
she's being cryptic, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. So I'm like super pumped about it, and I told the person that that also feels similar, that I was like, just so you know, I'm calling in to work, and I'm gonna be slightly sick that day, I feel like, and I'm probably gonna start drinking at 2 a.m. And they looked at me and was like, I don't know if that's solid life choices, and I said, but is it? So, anyways.
Well, you do you.
Yeah, like, for anybody that knows me, like, I'm an occasional, like, have a drink here, but I'm not, like, get
up at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
and
no.
start.
Mm-mm. never have, don't anticipate this being a thing.
I hope not. I seriously hope not. I don't think you will.
No.
Anyway, let's get back to the knitting. What's taking about this episode? I actually have something. Crazy sauce. Can you guess what it is? It's another hat. I finished another hat. Can you believe it? So I finished one out of our trapdoor colorways. So this is Leading Men Fiber Arts box office in our colorway for October called Trapdoor. And I finished a swatch and I used the other half to knit a hat. So, and then I found 2 other hats I forgot to donate because my local yarn store is a collection point for Operation Chemo Comfort, which is where all these hats are being donated. We're doing a knit along, which we'll talk about in more in depth later. But so it's knit on a size 8 for the main body and a 6 for the ribbing, and yeah, so I really enjoyed the way this knit up, and I have another one going, which you'll see in a minute. So there's that. I thought I was going to be done with it, but I didn't get as much knitting done yesterday as I would have hoped. So that's all that I finished.
Those are like turning out so nice. You know?
I enjoy them. They're simple. They give me something to work on, and I feel a sense of accomplishment since all my other whips are taking so long. Mm-hmm. You know, which I'm sorry. You guys understand. Life gets in the way, but these are nice little palette cleansers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I still got it. Keeps my knitting bug alive.
Yeah.
So it helps. It does help to have something quick and simple on the needles. Do you have anything taking about?
I don't. I was close. If I would have...
She doesn't.
I don't.
Happens. All right, let's move on to what's performing this episode. So, I'm not showing you the grandma's favorite microfiber blanket. It's downstairs, and I just didn't feel like carrying it up here because I maybe put 3 rows on it. But my starting point mystery knit along, I think I might be close to the same point I was at. This is all using, again, Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer, our MCN base, in Darkest Hours, Smoky Quartz, London Fog, Double Your Pleasure, and a custom speckle, probably to be released soon. And I might have added a few more rows of violets. I'm in the last portion before you actually join the 2 pieces together.
I just love this color combo. I know I say this week after week, but I just really enjoy this.
I can't wait to get it done, and it's going to be a nice piece to premiere with next show season, since we just went through and I have so much yarn that's going to be updated to the online shop in the next couple of weeks to month, because we cleared out everything we didn't have full sets of in our booth, and we're going to be starting fresh with next show season, which starts off with Stitches West. So there's going to be so much going in the shop, which is great because, you know, we have our Thanksgiving progressive sale that we do every year. So we're just going to try to get as much yarn in the shop as we can, which is good because the shop has not been sparse by a lot of hand dyers websites, like they're, you know what I mean, quantity wise, but for what we used to carry in the shop
before you started doing shows,
yeah, we used to have like,
as you do.
Right, and we now have show stock and online stock, which are 2 separate things. And we used to actually shut down the shop and just take everything when we traveled, and we don't do that anymore. So we run things a little bit differently.
I'm really excited because I think for Thanksgiving I'm going to get a sweater quantity. I like Trapdoor a lot, and we've talked about this.
Mm-hmm. We had somebody buy a sweater combo for that Sunset Highway, and the main body was going to be Trapdoor.
That would be really pretty. Whoever that is, good choice. Good choice.
We worked on the color combo together.
Okay, I'm sorry. Good choice. Good choice.
So, yeah. Next up is A Day to Remember by Joji Locatelli, and I did actually take this with me and put a lot of work on it. Especially one night I was watching Netflix while Andy was watching football, and I got into a new show, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. But this is out of Madeline Tosh Prairie, which is a lace weight in the Cove colorway on a size 6 US 4 millimeters. Now you can see how many stitches are on this needle. It's kind of outrageous. But I am now in the last garter section before I have to do one more eyelet and a little more garter and then bind off. So it is a crescent shaped shawl, again, garter with the eyelets. And I love our lighting, actually, when we have the outlight on and it's dark outside. Because we've recorded now a couple times at night here the past couple times, and it's does help with the lighting. So who knows? Maybe we'll change our schedule up a little bit and keep to at night. Though Andy's downstairs waiting. I want to go to bed. I want to go to bed. He may eventually come up and walk past. Again, skipping the microfiber blanket. My flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. Oh, so exciting! So I'm on the ribbing of the body. I'm on the ribbing. And so this is out of Barocco Vintage Colors in number 5220, which is Cafe Latte. And it's on a size 6 and 8 US, which is a 4 and 5 millimeter needle. And ta-da! So I'm back down to a size 6 at the bottom, which, let me tell you, when you have interchangeables, it's real nice to just change out those needles. So you can see the ribbing here. It's a 1x1 ribbing going around. I've got maybe half an inch, and I've got to go for another inch, and then I get to bind off the bottom, and then it's just onto the sleeves. Those never-ending sleeves. But I'm hoping I got a 12-inch size 8 needle, and I'm hoping so that'll make it easier to not have to do so much, finagling or DPNs. I mean, you have to flip the sleeve back and forth, but if you're a type A personality like me, you learn how to flip it one way and then you flip it back and you flip. Because some people, you get caught turning it the same way every time, and then you gotta untwist the arm as you go. Anyway, and this one, I don't always say what bags this is in, but this is in one of my Bags by Awesome Granny bags, which I do enjoy. If you're not watching the, is it Knitter's Gotta Knit podcast? I think it is.
So.
Which is Darlene, Bags by Awesome Granny, and her friend Carrie. Please watch. It's a good podcast. I had an email with Carrie, and I was like, I watch your podcast. And she didn't know about our podcast, and I told her to watch. So if you're watching, Carrie, hi. Because they showed our yarn, and she was like, I don't know much about him. And I was like, well, you could. You could know about me. I put my face on the internet. Anyway, so behind the scenes, that's the Mystery Knit Along by Michelle Hunter, who is Knit Pearl Hunter. And I thought I was behind on Clue 2 because of her Knit Along is run through her blog. You don't get like an email on Ravelry that the pattern's been updated. So I quickly printed it off before last week's Knit Night, and I got like halfway done with it, or like 2/3 of the way done with the Clue, and then I finished it the next morning. I was like, okay, I'm good for the next week. And then I realized when Clue 3 came out last Thursday, which I haven't started, I was like, boy, that looks much bit longer than what I had finished. Well, I realized you were supposed to do one 20-row repeat and then a 12 rows of repeat the first 12 rows. No, you were supposed to do 2 repeats of the 20 rows and then a 12. So I've got another 20 rows I've got to do. So anyway, if you don't want to be spoiled, look away. This is out of Haiku O in the Wow colorway, and it's knit on a size 10 US 8 millimeter. So this is going to be like a infinity cowl scarf that can be buttoned up. The buttons are going to live down in these 4 cables, and so now we're in seed stitching cables going on. So, and then it's going to go into these diamonds, I think, are going to be carried through the entirety of the scarf till the last portion, but then there's a cable that starts running in the middle of it. So there's that. And then last but not least, let me show you the new hat I cast on. I finished a swatch, and then I cast on a hat while vending this weekend. That's the wrong bag, Steve. And it's out of Box Office again by Leading Them Fiber Arts, and it's in the Primordial colorway. So I need to wash and block the swatch to put in my swatch book, which, by the way, here you go. Here's what the swatch looks like. And I went to town on it and made it a little bigger than I was supposed to, but that's what proves that swatch book is handmade. And anyway, here's where I'm at on the hat. So got the 2 inches of 2x2 ribbing done on a size 6. Then I move into a size 8 with all in circulars, 16-inch circulars, cast on 96, go until between 7 and 8 inches, and then do crown decreases where I decrease I set stitch markers every 12 stitches, and then I slip, knit to the last two, and knit two together. No, reverse that. Knit two together, knit to... I've done both, anyway. And then I knit a plain round, and then I do a decrease round, a plain round, decrease round, until there's 8 stitches left, and I weave the end through. Because I've had a lot of people asking me what pattern I use, and I don't use a pattern. I just use my own recipe.
Are they on your project pages?
I don't think so. Because I'm lazy.
Just curious.
Anyway, I think that's it that I'm working on. You know, just those few things. I get like that. I'm like, I'm gonna whip down. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoop.
So as I mentioned in a week in review, this project has been languishing on my needles for about a year and a half. It was originally started as a knit along for SSK 2016 for Thea Coleman, or Baby Cocktail knits. She was one of the designers that was teaching at that particular SSK, and I actually did have a really enjoyable class with her. If you get the opportunity to take a class with her, I highly recommend it.
She's a hoot and a half.
Oh, she is. And she's probably one of the most honest and blunt people, and therefore I truly love her. Like, you could just pretty much ask her about, you know, whatever. I also really appreciate that everything, you know, she has a story for everything, it feels like. So anyways, this pattern is called
I might know someone like that.
This pattern is called Creme de Menthe, and I'm using Cascade 220 Superwash, and I'm using size 8 US needles, and I'm right in the middle of the row, and it's on the wrong side, but I just went past the middle marker, so you can kind of see.
And it's a shawl?
Yep, it's a shawl.
So you can see some of the knit pearl textures. Again, how much you'll be able to see once I compress the video, oh no. But it's pretty.
Yeah. So part of the reason why I put it down, and this is the lace motif and is currently what I'm working on the other side. It repeats itself. So I put this down because I couldn't figure out where I messed up. And I was really I was mad at myself, so that's why I put it down. Because, like, I couldn't figure it out. And so, it's out there for a long time. And so, I was cleaning something and I found it again. And I was like, I'll take that on vacation with me because nobody will be around me. We don't really have TV. Like, we get rando channels. I appreciate PBS more than I could really ever say. But, I didn't even plug in the TV for 2 days. So
you're able to focus.
Yeah. So I was able to focus, but long story short is that it took me 4 times to rip back, knit, and I finally got it. So the pattern's done in 3 sections, and I knew section 1 was good and section 2 was good. Like, I was on stitch count for everything, and it was section 3 that I was having a really hard time. And it's because I thought that I knew better than the pattern. That's what it boils down to. And it doesn't matter how many times you check Ravelry to see if there's an errata, and that there's 46 people that have made this, and 46 people that know what they're doing. It doesn't matter. You don't have to think you know better. That's a little tip from me to you, in case if you don't know what's wrong. So, if there's a number of people, like if it was like 2 or 3, like that people that knit it, then maybe I could see where they, you know, automatically corrected it in their mind. But 46, 46. I don't want to say that was a really hard lesson to learn, but it was a really hard lesson to learn.
Is that all you're working on?
Yes, currently.
Okay. Well, what's in rehearsal? What are we planning on casting on? I'll have something here in a minute that I'm going to show you under stash enhancement. But other than that, I really don't have any ideas other than, you know, more hats. Always the hats. But yeah, other than that, nothing immediately other than something, maybe something else that I'm going to show you. I need to not cast, but this is like work-related. Well, one's not work-related, but one's kind of work-related. You'll understand later on in the show. So that's what I'm planning on casting on. Was that not confusing at all?
I'm only like 7 rows away from finishing this, and that includes the bind off. So I want to finish this and then finish my back to school shawl because I'm really close on that too. But this kind of took precedence because I was trying to figure it out. So
you would say with this shawl, it kind of brings back your love of the ginormous heavyweight shawls? They're kind of schlankish?
You know, honestly, I wanted to use this yarn because I didn't know what I was going to use it for, and I had the yardage to do this pattern. And at the time, I didn't really want to buy new yarn for this pattern. But I will say that it calls for... You can tell how well loved this pattern is. But it calls for worsted and for 600 yards. So, but as I've been doing this pattern, I thought if you switch up the gauge and realize it's not going to be as big, I thought this would look really nice in your soliloquy base.
Well, I'm just saying you might want to stay tuned if you were liking the heavier weight shawls that are bigger. That's all I was saying.
Oh.
I was trying to get at.
Yes.
But
yes.
You went off with more additional information about the pattern, which is great. Our viewers enjoy that. But just stay tuned if you like bigger, heavier weight shawls.
I think this winter is going to be pretty.
From what I've heard, yeah, I think it's like it's the year to kind of, when it rains it pours, when it snows it blizzards.
Yeah.
But I don't have to travel as much, like at all, other than the post office. And I've kind of already told Andy, since his car lives in the garage and he has to leave anyway every morning, I'm like, you might be going to the post office, because what's the point in me having to clear off the van that's way too tall for me to actually get all the snow off the
I'm going to
windshield?
get one of those extended.
I have one, and it's still too short.
Should I just get you a footstool then? Like one of those?
I actually want a footstool for the back of the van, but he's afraid I'm going to break my ankle. And I almost broke my ankle yesterday coming out of the van because I slipped off the edge of the lip. But I need like a heavy duty, like I've seen them, like the metal ones.
Yeah.
You can't get like a plastic one because my badonkadonk is just going to crack and break that. And that's what he's afraid of, that it's going to break or I'm going to fall off of that. But I need something intermittent between the van and the...
Well, can't you get those mounted on the back of it?
We tried, but the foot is no bigger than the lip of the van.
Oh.
And it's only like an inch shorter. It's not... He actually bought me one and put it on, and it just wasn't going to be any different. So, anyway, behind the scenes, my spinning. I'm still spinning the Knit Spin Farm Bat, which is Dorset Horn and Ile-de-France wool in the electric colorway. This is all I have left of the second 2 and some ounces, and a little bit on my Hansen right now, but gives you an idea. Again, I haven't been home much, and my Hansen doesn't travel with me. I know it can. I don't travel with it, so. In the scene shop, my other crafting, my cross stitch is over there. It's not gotten much love, so I didn't take it off to... I actually just moved the Q-snap to get to a certain area, so it's not seen a whole lot of love yet. So I may not show that every week just because it's a hassle to get... Again, it's not my first love. Something I do on the side, you know, it's my side thing.
Side hustle.
It's not my main boo thing, it's just... Anyway, let's move on into the spotlight, shall we? Alright, what are we watching and reading? I'm still watching American Horror Story Cult. Ooh, I got one of those to catch up on, I think. Yeah, from yesterday. Duh. We are behind on Will and Grace by like 2 episodes now, so... We watched the 3rd episode, I think, and we liked that one. It seemed to flow better. We both, you know, Andy said, he's like, I like this one better. It seems more what it was, rather than trying to be what it was. Does that make sense? Like, maybe they found their groove again, or... Anyway, I started a new show on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, and it's called Slasher. And you'd think it's like, oh, one of those horrible, like, B-rated things. It's kind of B-rated. You don't know anybody in it. But
You don't know anybody. They don't even go here.
But it's interesting because it's like this couple was murdered on Halloween, and the wife was pregnant, about to have a baby, and the guy who killed them like took the baby, and when they found him, he was sitting there rocking the baby. And anyway, it's 30 years later, and the girl moves back into her house, and there's just a copycat killer, and it's interesting. There's some, you have to stretch, suspension of disbelief. You have to stretch your imagination for some of it, but I don't think it's horrible, or it's got my attention that I'm into the storyline, and I watched 3 episodes the other night, and I'm wanting to watch more, but sleep is important. I did finish a book, rated it 2 stars. It's not great. It's called Warlock Holmes, A Study in Brimstone by G.S. Denning, and I read reviews because it actually got decent reviews. I think you have to know the Sherlock Holmes stories for it to make sense, because I think it's definitely a paranormal parody of Sherlock Holmes, so I just felt like I had no idea what was going on, and I felt like there were big jokes that I was missing. I felt like I was the dunce of the party, and I just wasn't getting it, so I was just like, whatever. I mean, I listened to it, it was fine. I think it's the beginning of a series. I will not be listening to more. But then I started another book, and I'm like, oh my gosh. On the way to Michigan, I started one. I was like, I have nothing against the British accent. I love it. But when you listen to audiobooks, and you've listened to a whole audiobook on British in a British accent, and then the next one is a Brit, I'm like, I need a break. And I know I can get a different book and come back to it. But I'm not that type of person. You know me. Like, start something, I gotta finish it. So we'll see how long it takes me to finish this one. But
This is slightly on topic, but off. So, this is random, but like, my gym has a radio station that they play that is pretty PC. Like, not PC as in like a bad thing, but like, there's no swearing, like, there's no gyration music, nothing.
no Elvis Presley on that radio
nothing.
station.
So anyways, but it's a UK based, but I heard this commercial and it was for Ford, and they were talking about like a car trade-in, and I was like, man, that is a really sweet deal. And all of a sudden, and then they were like talking about in pounds or in euros how much it was, and I was like, I don't even know what I'm listening to anymore, so I'm just gonna put my headphones back in. So
I'm sure, yeah, if any of our over-the-pond viewers are like... Anyway, that's what I'm watching and reading, if you care to not read Warlock Holmes, so...
Things that I am reading, I didn't really read at all. Things that I'm watching. Watched a lot of PBS travel docs while I was on vacation, which was really interesting. I watched a whole hour on Norway. So shout out to Norway. There's a lot of interesting facts that I learned about that. And then, took a casual train ride through the countryside of Germany, and there was a Scotland one, so felt very cultured while I was sitting in the middle of nowhere. So
interesting.
It was good.
All right, well, let's talk stash enhancement, because I'm up and bad.
I have nothing, so.
I'm up and bad. So, my local yarn store, I went to Open Knitting last Tuesday, and she got in a trunk show from Ba Yarns, which I've never purchased. She's had some in the shop, but she actually got a decent quantity of one of their bases, and it was very prettily set up. And I actually won... Our yarn store does a lottery. It's a knitting club lottery, so every week... Anyway, there's a lottery, and you could win a grand prize jackpot of yarn. But I won a $25 gift card this week, and I was like, oh, well, I can't just let that burn a hole in my pocket. So I was like, I'm going to buy from the trunk show since I've never bought this yarn. It'll be new to my stash. I don't have it in my stash. That okays it. That justifies it in my head. And she had some patterns. And the one pattern I was looking at, she's like, that one's free. All the rest you got to pay for. I was like, sold. So it took 3 skeins of their yarn, and it was supposed to be 3 3 different colors, but I didn't care for that aesthetic, but I liked the basicness of it. And it's called Paris by Day, and it doesn't have a designer's name, and it's pretty simple. It's just chevrons. But it's a basic, elegant lace stole, it says, done with chevrons. And it uses their dye technique called dipped and dappled, where half the skein is dipped in a semi-solid color and the other half is speckled. And so if you see here, it uses 3 different colors. But I'm like, man, that's not my aesthetic. So I went with all one, because I'm nothing if not simple. And I went outside, kind of outside my color zone. So the dipped part is my color jam, but the dappled part is not. But the name kind of caught me. So I went with a colorway called Venom, which is like a dark forest green and then speckled with grays, yellows, and creams. So.
I like.
And this is the La Jolla, right?
La Jolla.
Well, that's what I always want to say. It's kind of an inside joke. Somebody came in and was like, they're like, the La Jolla. Can you see it there?
And we're not quiet about it in the store either. It's like a shouting thing.
Yeah, and we have to do the hands.
Yeah.
La Jolla. Anyway, La Jolla, which is 100% superwash merino, 400 yards. So there's that. So I picked that up, which, was significantly more than my $25 gift card. But that's okay. So once I finish my sweater, this will probably be on the needles. And so that was just the regular stash enhancement. And then I did get a few things from my neighbor, vending neighbor this weekend. She was new to me and she's very, very small, but she does everything. She handcrafts everything. She dyes yarn, roving, silk hankies. She spins, she sews, she does tooth fairy pillows, and she has something with teeth. She was talking about it's kind of like she's had bad teeth, and it's kind of like a therapeutic thing because it's always kind of bothered her, and so it's kind of her way of dealing with it. But she had so many other things there as well. Sewn aprons and just so much stuff. And so I liked her fiber because she does progressives where the colors change. And so I picked up a braid of her 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon in I believe the colorway name is, you need to say this because I looked it up on, I think it's Spanish for witch. What do you say, witch?
Bruja.
That's what I thought, but it had a little more of an accent Google did, and I couldn't say it. So this is a progressive. It starts with this kind of purpley magenta, and then darker, and then the gold, and the chartreuse, and then the sour apple. I know what all these colors are, the dye colors, so that's what's kind of fun. But I'm going to make this into a gradient. So I'm going to eventually spin it, and then chain ply it so the colors will stay. But she also advertised it. It's really great for fractal spinning, so you get that kind of barbapole throughout the skein effect. But she had quite a couple different color options and fiber contents.
So gorgeous.
And then I picked up a skein of her yarn, which is an interesting blend. This is from Bitter Buffalo Fiberworks, by the way. She's on Etsy. I'll link to her in the show notes. But this is in her Betelgeuse base, which is 90% superwash targi. 10% nylon. It's 466 yards. And this is in her Haunted colorway. She does speckles. It's kind of her jam. And so it's Halloween reminiscent, but doesn't scream Halloween.
Yeah. And
so I picked out a skein of our Showstopper Intermission for cuffs, heels, and toes, because I was like, I'm going to make some socks out of this. And this is outside my comfort zone. Shabam. Oh gosh, there are pops of this highlighter yellow in the yarn, and so I picked to highlight that with the cuffs, heels, and toes.
Nice.
So there's that, and then I forgot her name. Is it on her card? Bitter Buffalo, who is Sarah. And she is out of Ohio, I think. She donated a skein, which this is going to be a giveaway next. Oh, I showed you the wrong one. Haunted That's why I was like, it's not working that well. This is a giveaway that we're going to do next episode, okay? Okay? Haunted is in the same base I got. This is the one I got. House of Leaves. Now do you see how the yellow kind of...
Yeah.
That's a little bit better. Because I was sitting there going, that's a... No, Haunted is a Halloween colorway that she wanted to show off. So you're going to see this again next week. But yeah, definitely check out Bitter Buffalo Fiberwork. She gave an explanation to a customer, and I only half heard kind of her story behind her name, but I thought it was interesting. So there's that. So that was my stash enhancement from the show. That's all I got. I didn't need to get anything, but I like to support my neighbors usually. When you know you're vending in the same space for a weekend, I like to get to know them a little bit and try their product if it speaks to me. So.
She looks like she has really gorgeous stuff just from the sampling.
Yeah, and she's, like I said, it's just an eclectic mix. It's very much just like that handmade quality, you know, that just kind of small batch, little bit of everything.
Cool.
So, yeah. All right.
Cool.
So let's move into our giveaway for this week. Are you ready? It's a good one. So, Caitlin and Carolyn, I believe. Gotta be right. Am I right? Am I right? I wrote it down. Did I write it down? No, it's in the thing. I looked it up. Caitlin and Carolyn, I believe, are sisters, and they own two companies. One is Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yarns, who we've reviewed their yarns before, and she's been very generous in giving away items. And then her sister, Carolyn, who I believe has donated maybe before as well, or no, maybe I just got her yarn. She does hand-dyed yarn as well, different than Caitlin, and project bags, as well as a multitude of other things. She was an art major, and so they teamed up together, and they both donated something, and then they realized once they donated them that they went together, so we decided that this is going to be one complete giveaway. So this is one of Carolyn's, and I'm so sorry if it's not Carolyn, but I'm pretty sure I just typed up, there's a thread already open on our Ravelry group. But this is one of Carolyn's bags that she donated. It's got lovely red and green flowers on it. And it's got the nice handle so you can loop your hand through and, you know, walk and knit. Good zipper, tucked corners, and then it's just a nice white clean lining on the inside. And she's got her company name, Anomalous Mind, here on the inside. And then Caitlin of Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yards donated a new colorway, a new holiday colorway called Gingerbread House, and this is a self-striping. 400 yards of 80% superwash from merino, 20% nylon, and this is her twist sock. So, how awesome do those go together?
Like peas and carrots.
Yeah, they were just like, we didn't plan it, we just both kind of... So we decided that this needs to go together. So, in order to be entered to win this in the next 2 weeks, you must be a member of the group, okay? Leading or Dramatic Knits on Ravelry. You must be a member of the group. You need to post before we record next Sunday, or in 2 Sundays, which I believe is November 4th or 5th. It's all in the thread. And 2, you must answer the prompt. I want you to go to both of their shops, not just one, both, and tell me what from each shop most calls out to you. So, Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yarns, what do they have in their shop that most calls out to you? And then Anomalous Mind. They're both on Etsy. I've linked to both of them in the Ravelry thread where you are going to tell me from each shop to be entered. Now, that is our giveaway. Awesome in itself, yes? Okay.
Solid.
Let's move into a round of applause because I want to give Caitlin and Caroline, I almost said Coraline, Caitlin and Caroline, a round of applause because they both donated coupon codes to our viewers. So, in both of their shops, you can save 15% from now until November 30th, and you can use it as much as you want. Okay, the coupon code is BDramatic15, all in caps, all one word. BDramatic15. And I've actually gone ahead and I don't know why I have waited so long to do this. So many other podcast groups have it. But in the Dramatic Knits video podcast group, there is now a coupon code thread. And if you are a shop and want to share coupon codes with our viewers, please feel free to link your shop or, updates or new things that you're doing. I'd love to see that. Just because I own my own company, you see here how much I like to enjoy other makers. So there's now a coupon code thread. You do not need to ask permission as long as it's fiber related for the most part. You know what I mean? Nothing inappropriate. But we don't get that anyway, and I would delete it anyway. But if you make something, if you have a shop and you want to do a coupon code, make sure you link your shop and say what the code is and how long it lasts. Because I don't always, there are people who reach out with coupon codes, and I tell them they can open a thread. Now there's a thread for it. So I don't always remember to say them on the show, and we're very grateful to any makers who do offer coupon codes to our viewers. Okay. All right. So thank you, Caitlin and Caroline.
Yes, thank you.
And check out their shops. When you're looking, maybe purchase something, get 15% off, and then you can win this.
Yeah.
All right. I would like to do another thank you. Inside this bag, which is housing some of my stash enhancements, is some donations to the podcast. And that was donated by our friend Kathy, who is Knitter Chow. So thank you, Kathy. She is a wonderful human being. And this is the third year we've done Fiber Expo. And she always comes and gives Andy and I like a little pick-me-up treat of like some fruit or a snack and some water. And she's just such a kind soul. And so she's a part of the Dramatic Knits community. So she kind of wanted to bring some stuff this weekend besides snacks for Andy and I. She brought some yarn for you all to be donated as prizes. So thank you, Kathy. We have our Operation Chemo Comfort Hat Drive Knit Along going on. Do you want to talk about that? Basically, all you gotta say is that.
Yeah, no, sorry, I was counting. That's why I was
sorry.
like...
Did I mess you up?
No, you're fine.
I just feel like I'm talking a lot, so I want
No,
to
you're
give
fine. Sorry. So, it is going until... I just want to make sure.
November 15th?
November 15th. Sorry, I've got a lot of dates with work.
I understand.
So it's going through November 15th, and it's any base of yarn, any hat project, pattern, whatnot.
Any fiber contact.
Yeah.
It does not need to be superwash.
Mm-hmm. So the mailing address, or if you're local to us, you can drop it off at our local yarn shop, and that's a drop-off point.
And that's Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois.
Yes.
Which, even if you're not that local and you want to make a drive to visit the shop and bring hats, she'd be more than welcome to accept those.
Yeah, and truly, if you're close for a day drive, the shop is totally worth coming to. She's closed Sunday and Monday, so just know that.
I think Kelsey from Operation Chemo Comfort emailed me. She's coming on the 11th of November to pick up from them. So if you are coming, just know she's coming on the 11th. I unfortunately can't be there. They scheduled that without me, which is fine. But that's the day that I'm flying to Cancun. So I'll be in Cancun when that's going. But
I'm hoping to be there in the afternoon. I have a volunteer project that is not work-related in the morning, but I hope to be there in the afternoon, especially for open knitting. So
cool.
But yeah, this project is very near and dear to both of our hearts, and we hope that you are able to participate. And also, if you have...
Andy's going to bed.
Yeah. If you have any hats that don't fit, don't like, whatever it may be, those are welcome too.
Right. It doesn't have to be knit in the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to donate it, physically mail it within the time frame.
Yep.
And I think we're up to, in the thread, I think we're up to like 85 hats. I know I've donated to, I've forgotten, like 16, and there's been some other dropped off. So, we're getting there. We were over 150 last year. Yeah. So we've got some time. But yeah, I would love to do better than we did last year. So please, if you can look around, if you've got a hat laying, in your coat rack or wherever that you're not using, it can go to a good home.
I've got 2 that I know for sure, and I'm hoping to do 2 in addition.
Awesome. So. All right, getting here towards the end. Our giveaway from last episode was the book Knit to Give, and that was this book, which was donated by our fairy yarn mother. Mm-hmm. Right here. It's got 30 knitted gifts made with love, and I asked you to tell me what was your favorite hangout spot, and random number generator chose number 8, who is Skyly Knits. So congratulations. She said, my hangout spots depend on time and weather. When it's nice out and I get some alone time, my favorite place is on the porch swing on my back deck, watching the river with a good book and a cuppa. It's awesome. I'm jealous. And then she says, when that isn't an option, my cozy spot is in the living room, my chair and footstool, which is usually being occupied by a cat or three, surrounded by things that I love. My yarn is behind me, my whip's beside me, and my family elsewhere in the room. So that sounds wonderful. So I'm so glad that you shared that with us, and congratulations. If you would, please, Skyly Knits. Sorry I forgot to look at your name and where you were located. I did. You're in Michigan, but I did not write down your name. I'm sorry. Please email me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, and let me know your first and last name and mailing address, and I'll get that out to you as soon as I can. October is coming to a close, but it's not done yet, so you can still enter anything you finish in the month of October to our October 2017 Race to the Finished Object contest. We will have a wonderful physical prize as well as a pattern from our featured designer, who this month it is Christopher Salas, who I'm going to talk about here in just a few minutes. He is a Chicago transplant, and so he's new to Chicago here in the last 6 months or so, and so I've had a great time getting to know him, and he's a really nice guy. So, there's that. Okay, I'm going to move into center stage, all things leading men fiber arts. There are things in the shop I've been updating, so check it out. I don't have any physical yarn from updates to show you, but I have some amazing things to show you, so you do not want to leave. First off, I want to talk to you about upcoming shows. So, the last two things I have on the books for this year is I will be at the Knitting Pipeline Eagle Crest Retreat. I am actually vending and teaching my boomerang class there. That is not open to the public, but I just wanted to share that with you, that I'm going to be there because I'll be able to talk about it. And that is literally the day that that's on the 10th of November. That night I come home and we drive to Chicago to then catch a plane the next day to go on vacation. But it's cool. It's good. So there's that. And then December 3rd, 2nd, that Saturday, is the third annual hand-dyed holiday at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery. She will have probably over, I think she was saying like 5,000 new skeins of hand-dyed yarn in her shop that day. She will have a full trunk show from us, as well as many other dyers. She is getting a new indie dyer in permanently, premiering there that I know of. Can't say more than that. But she will also be restocked on things like Madelinetosh, Hedgehog, Ba, all that wonderful stuff. So it is the greatest day of the year. Mm-hmm. She also will have some exclusive colorways from several indie dyers as well. So just saying that. So that's the last thing on the books for me. I do want to say, while we're on vacation, I'm not going to close the shop, but obviously nothing is going to ship. So if you place an order, I will try to put it up on the website, but the way our website's designed, it'll probably be a picture, and then they scroll through pictures, and I can't keep it up the whole time. So from November 11th through that following Saturday, that whole week, any orders placed will not ship until we get back. So there's that. And yeah, I do want to tell you about a new pattern that's been recently released, because I have the original here before I'm going to actually be mailing it back, because I'm getting some samples made. But it's called Kimball, and it's a shawl by Sarah Abram, who we are big fans of. She works a lot with Leading Men Fiber Arts, and this is no exception. So she originally designed this with one of our speckle gradients, our Razzle Dazzles, which is one of the options. And then it has a contrasting border at the bottom, which you'll see here. And then she did a second version, which takes one of our semi-solid gradients, and then it's got a full skein contrasting color that has eyelet rows in the middle. So this is a crescent-shaped shawl, again, called Kimball. You might have seen me post about it on Instagram and Ravelry, but here it is. So this was done out of one of our blue ink, I believe was the blue. We have a lot of blues. I think blue ink was the original gradient, and then nude scene, and you can see here the contrasting eyelets in between. The Razzle Dazzle version does not have the contrasting eyelets, but then it has this really cool border down at the bottom, and that's where, if you do the Razzle Dazzle, that's where the contrasting color comes in. It's the kind of chevron-y bendy part, and then the lace edging. So yeah, I'll be putting up some kits here soon. I put some together at the show this weekend. We'll have more and more kits being added to the shop. And so I'm excited. So congratulations to Sarah on releasing a new design. And we can't thank her enough for using Leading Men Fiber Arts with her creativity. All right, the last thing I have to tell you about has been in the making for 9 months. I mean, it feels like we are birthing a baby. No joke. It feels like a baby is being born with this. Because we are in, like, full on, like, no joke, packing the bag, ready to, like, go to the hospital. It's, like, out of the gate, ready to happen. And Callie knows nothing about it.
This is, like, killing me.
She's been begging. She's like, so it's been in a box ready to show you, because I kind of want to show you how it comes. And you may see it on a few other podcasts. There was a few other marketing kits that were sent out. But Andy had an idea. This is really Andy's idea. And I've been, like, I've given my 2 cents because I can't not do that. But I've really been like, this is your baby. You had the idea. You're going to go with this. And we've worked together a lot, but I've really given him, like, creative license with this. So we decided to come up with a Winter Wonderland kit.
I feel like I've already want dibs on this.
And so I'm going to show you the kit and then I'll give you the details. But we have been talking with people and setting up plans because we knew we didn't want it to be a minuscule kit. Let's put it that way. And so we've been making plans since February. The Knitting Pipeline Retreat this past spring, we've been, plotting.
I'm just so mad already that, like, I literally am in the dark. I have no idea.
Well, you get to experience it with all of our lovely viewers.
It's true.
So, the kits will come like this. We wanted to get fancy boxes, but to be honest with you, we did not want to raise the price point to accommodate that. So, you're welcome, because shipping boxes are not cheap. And U.S. postal ones are free. So, anyway, so you will open it up, and it'll have some nice tissue paper. And hey, there's our faces. So it's kind of like a holiday card from Andy and I. And so I'm not going to read it to you, but there's a lovely photo of the two of us that Amber took at Stitches Midwest. And then on the front of the card is a beautiful photograph on a new design that will be released in conjunction with the kit by Christopher Salas, who's our featured designer. And it is called Winter City. And
it's gorgeous.
There you go. It's a huge crescent-shaped shawl done with mosaic knitting at the bottom. And yes, those are some colors you're going to see here in person that are featured with the kit. So you get a coupon code for a free copy of this shawl with your kit, okay, as well as our holiday card. And so you take the tissue out, and there's several things in here.
Guys, I'm like literally, this is so exciting.
So you will get, there'll be a variety of different ways we package these, only because we didn't have as much quantity of these. So a certain number of you will get things that look like this, but there's a little box. And there's going to be a little note personalized to you with a set of stitch markers from Selkie Studio that match the whole theme, along with a progress keeper. And then inside the box, you may be wondering, I have to figure out how to open this. Okay, here we go. There is a box filled with scraps of yarn from throughout the year as we've been rescanning. We've kept our scraps. This is what I'm saying. It's been 9 months. We've kept our scraps. But that's just the packaging. Inside, you will get your own individual, no two will be alike, holiday ornament filled with scraps of Leading Men Fiber Arts. So a little bit of, Leading Men in your Winter Wonderland and your holiday. And again, you have more scraps that you could do something else with if you want, but it'll package all of the keep your ornament nice and safe. So that's a little gift from us. And then let's get to the goodies, all right?
Guys, literally.
So Selkie Studio was one of our collaborators. Christopher Salas was another one. And then the last one that we worked with was, you may have heard about this on our most recent episode. You're going to hear a little bit more on our next. is Amy Beth of the Fat Squirrel Speaks and Fat Squirrel Fibers, who does amazing bags. We both love her bags.
Yes.
And I said, Amy Beth, would you please work with me to do a bag for our kit? And so she pulled out all the stops, and she did. So we agreed on a Winter Wonderland themed bag. It comes with one of her large wedges. It will easily fit all the yarn you need to make the shawl. And it's got her gray zipper and her nice muslin. And it's the twill, so it's a heavy duty bag. And it's got our lovely, if you can see there, can you see?
Oh
The
my gosh.
deer, and there's also, what did I come across the other day? There's rabbits, and there was something else. I thought there was a squirrel somewhere. There's deer wearing scarves. I mean, come on now. If you know Amy Beth, you know, like, I knew I wanted her aesthetic in bags. And so she actually worked with the designer of this fabric to get a color modification done just for our kits. So, just saying. So, you get the project bag, you get the stitch markers, you get the pattern, and you get the ornament. And then, you get not one, you get not two, which was the original plan. Oh no, you get 3 skeins of our DK weight. All new colors, never before been seen. Okay, these are all new colors. You get a new color. Well, I got to do this in the right order. Okay, this is called Ice Ice Baby.
Shut it. Shut the front door.
Then this one is called It's Cold Outside. Now, can you say these two names together? What is it?
Ice Ice Baby. It's cold outside.
Do you see what I did
Oh,
there?
I saw.
And then the featured yarn, which is going to be our November colorway of the month, okay, which will be available for pre-orders on every base, is called, real imaginative here, Winter Wonderland. Okay, so you get all 3 skeins of yarn, but I just want to tell you, it's a speckled colorway, but I really think I did a decent job
Spot on.
with the bag. And then the stitch markers that match. I think you guys are going to like this kit. I hope so. We have worked so hard on it, and it's something I'm like, we're proud of. Like, and guys, this isn't, we already have things lined up for the new year and thinking about next year. We have collaborations going on for next year. I never realized how much work goes into when people make kits and collaborate with each other. It takes a lot of time and planning to do it well. And so we hope that you will enjoy this. We hope that maybe we'll put in for an early Christmas gift or early holiday gift. And I plan on doing a knit along with the shawl in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group for the months of November and December. And yeah, so.
Man. Okay, this is totally worth not telling me. I'll give you that.
So, let me give you the details now. These will go for sale on November 1st at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? There is a decent quantity, but there is a hard and fast quantity. There is no... Usually with our pre-orders, we don't really hold fast. Like, we just produce as much as needed. There are 120 kits. That is it. Once they sell out, they are gone. And I'm hoping that they sell out. But once they're gone, they're gone. So there'll be 120. It's a first come, first serve. There's no pre-ordering it ahead of time and laying claim to it. They will go on sale at 10 a.m. The cost is $125, and that's with free domestic shipping. So your shipping is included in that. That is lower than retail. Mm-hmm. Okay? So we debated about the cost for a while. That is lower than everything priced out together. So just know that. And if you're international, do not worry. I understand we can't give the free shipping. It is $10 flat no matter where you are, Canada or elsewhere. That'll get you, and that's going to be cheaper than what it actually costs to ship it. We're taking kind of that free domestic shipping cost and applying that to the international. So 120 first come, first serve. International will be $10 flat shipping, free domestic shipping. And I think that's all that I have to say about the kit. So,
man, I'm really proud of you guys. Like, this
Thank
is
you.
really a solid.
We curated everything, and that's where I was telling Andy, I said, this is where when you get to be a larger company, like you need somebody who does this with like your marketing and this is their business affairs, business relations. I said, it's just hard to do this and dye yarn and do the manual labor and do everything else. So on top of traveling and vending and wholesales and guys, I think I told you this, but it's official now. We're in the Loop U. Like really. Like it's on the website. That's crazy too. The Loop U? Come on.
I think, you know what is like interesting? Not being a part of this ride, but being associated with it by just...
You're riding in the sidecar.
I know, right? Like, sweet helmet on and whatnot. But anyways, what I think is really awesome is that, like, I know that you guys really hoped that the business would do well. And I remember there was a lot of anxiousness and, worry about what it would look like when you guys first started. And, like, even if you would have thought, like, not that I ever doubted.
Right.
But, like, I think at this magnitude as to where you guys are now, I think it's pretty awesome to see. Because if you know Steve and Andy before they started their business together, I mean, you guys were humble guys anyways.
Right.
But, like, this is beyond amazing for you guys.
I think it just proves that hard work really pays off in the end. And we've given it everything we have. And it's now my life and it's my job. And I'm very, very happy for that. And I have all of you to thank for that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I did not plan on getting emotional. I don't normally get emotional, but
this is awesome.
But I'm excited to see where things are going to go. We have a lot of plans and we have a lot of dreams and aspirations still on where we want to take our company and what we've built from the ground up. So, quite literally, the house around us started our business. If you don't know, we pride ourselves. We haven't taken a loan. We haven't. We're not in debt in the company either. Like, the earnest money from this house paid for our first set of yarn and our pots and our dyes, and we've built from that. And, so hard work and perseverance and having a passion and loving what you do makes all the difference. And we hope that everybody who sees and feels our yarn and our product and sees the work that we put into it knows that. And we hope that that's why people come back and shop with us and spend their hard-earned dollars with us. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much. And if you need to get in contact with either of us, and regarding the business, you can always find us at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. We have a Ravelry group, Facebook group, and Instagram. You can always email us at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com. For the podcast, Ravelry, and you can find us on YouTube and iTunes, and of course our blog, dramaticknits.com. So, until we see you again in about 2 weeks or so,
we hope you
knit something dramatic.